All right, welcome back. As you saw on that absolutely beautiful graphic, it is election time. Decision 22 has descended upon us, and we are going to profile each and every candidate so that you can make an informed decision when you head to the polls. Now, as we said before we went to the break, I have, of course, the minority leader, Senator Chris Duenas, joining me on behalf of the GOP. And from the Democrats, of course, first-time candidate Jonathan Savares. We want to lay down some ground rules first. I'm going to give each of these gentlemen, these distinguished Guamanians, a minute to give you a little bit of an introduction about themselves, who they are, where they come from, and then we're going to go over a series of 3 questions. They have about 90 seconds each to go over that. So, gentlemen, half a day. Very, very good to see. First of all, congratulations to you both for making the decision to serve Guam in the capacity that you are. Very, very noble pursuit. So I would say the incumbent has seniority or has precedence. So Senator Duenas, you have 60 seconds for a personal introduction, if you would, please.
Thank you very much, Jason, and thank you to the KUAM family for giving us this opportunity to be before you in this great show, to be able to discuss some things about what we might want to do and what we'd like to do in the future. Okay, that camera, I'm sorry. I've been doing this before. I'm sure, I don't know why that wasn't at that camera.
The camera loves you, Senator.
Okay, so anyways, my name is Chris Duenas, and I'm currently serving in the 36th Guam legislature. You know, when I decided to run in 2020, I made a decision because I was frustrated, and I wanted to focus and make sure that the Guam legislature was going to be a legislature that will hold the administration accountable and have checks and balances in government. I think for a lot of people were frustrated, although there have been many challenges during the pandemic. I think there were many things that we could have done better. In the 37th Guam legislature, you've seen the Republican caucus really work hard to make sure there are checks and balances in our government. We've really made sure that as far as the budget is concerned, that it's a conservative budget, that we prioritize government resources for education, public safety, and healthcare. We have ensured also that for you, the people of Guam, we are going to concentrate on priorities and make sure that accountability and checks and balances are here. And so I'm asking once more for that opportunity to provide that check and balance.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Senator. Very well done. All right, first-time candidate from the village of Derido. Basically grew up like a stone's throw away from where I grew up in Ipapao. So very good to see you, Mr. Savares.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations. You have 1 minute.
So I would, first and foremost, I want to thank the KUAM family for hosting me today, and as well as Senator Duenas for sitting up here next to me, right? Nice to be next to a senior statesman who's done this before, kind of alleviate the pressures of this whole new venture that I'm going through. I want to tell everybody, first and foremost, I grew up in public service. My mom is Mayor Savares. For the last 22 years, I've been on the road in the background with my brothers and my family, helping support the village. So this is the same kind of mentality. This is the same mentality that I want to take into the legislature. Over the last, took a brief stint from that to go and join and serve our country. I was medically retired from the United States Army for COPD. I want to make sure that we work on getting veterans to understand the issues that the burn pits are going to face. I personally believe that burn pits are going to be the next issue that we saw with our Vietnam veterans with Aging Orange. Then lastly, I've been for the last 8 years, I've been advocating for a cannabis industry, a responsible, patient-focused cannabis industry on Guam. And I am number 6 on the ballot, and I humbly ask for each and every one of your support.
All right, thank you so much, Jonathan Savares, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You know, as a member of the U.S. Army, we do appreciate it, especially on 4th of July, but year-round. All right, let's start with our Q&A question, and we're not going to do like what they call in fantasy football, like the snake draft, where we go like back and forth. We're going to go Senator Duenas, Jonathan Savares, Senator Duenas, Jonathan Savares, if you guys are okay with that.
Yes.
And remember, you guys, as it says on the graphic right here, we want to see your questions as well. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, get your comments in, and we will ask those as well. All right. Senator,
yes,
of course, you did not start as a minority leader, but you are ending the term as the minority leader. What do you consider your biggest accomplishments over the last 2 years to be, from a personal standpoint, your own perspective?
I think the biggest accomplishment that I've been able to do is ensure that in the legislature, I've focused on making sure checks and balances are there. I introduced Bill 11, which I promised to do during the campaign, actually. And it was designed to ensure that during a public health emergency, the legislature revisits the issue of the emergency every 30 days, working with the administration and bringing in people to have their voices heard, whether it was the fisherman or the farmer or the businessman, big businessman, small business person, folks in all across our island, to be able to come in and express their concerns and also maybe give us some suggestions on how things should work going forward. Unfortunately, that bill didn't pass or didn't get signed into law, but it passed. And if you saw what happened during the Resolution 291 when we were discussing these issues, it was finally a time when the legislature was able to hold the administration accountable and bring about additional changes going forward to make things better for our people. I think that's my signature accomplishment.
All right, very well. Congratulations, Senator. All right, to Jonathan Savares, you mentioned the fact that your mother is a very long-time public servant, of course, president of the Mayor's Council for a significant amount of time. So there is, the lineage, the pedigree. In your own opinion, why are you qualified to be a senator and have the people endorse you? And what qualities do you have that would make a good public servant?
First and foremost, I've always put everybody else first, right? And that's been the mantra that our family has taken. We don't ask for accolades. We try not to sit up here on the studio and the sets, because at the end of the day, there's still more work to be done. And that's kind of the mindset that I'm going to take into the legislature, right? Over the last 20 plus years, we've always been out there during typhoons, and it's not about it's not about the credit that's there. It's about doing what's right by our people. And this is kind of the mindset. This is the mindset that I want to take into the legislature, because at the end of the day, if we have so much time to be up here on set, there's a lot more work to be done. We constantly see junk cars piling up, white goods, and these things are issues that is an ongoing challenge that we see, and not just in Delito, but in every single village. And these are things that I want to make sure that when I get in there, I work with the Mayor's Council to streamline it for every single village, because these are the constant things that we deal with. The constituents call it every day into the mayor's office to complain about.
Very well. And because you grew up on a sing song, you went to I'm assuming you went to JFK?
I went to Simon Sanchez, and when I get into the legislature, I want to make sure that I work with whoever the administration is to finish that project. I hear that they're going to be breaking ground soon, and I want to make sure that when they build up Sanchez, we get the new technology into there.
All right, very excellent. Well done. Okay, Senator Duenas, your second question. If reelected, what will your top priority be? And they say the first 30 days, the first 45 days, there's different measurements and everything. But when you hit the ground running and return to your now familiar seat in the legislature, what do you plan to do? What do you want to get done?
I got to tell you that there's so many things to do. Economic development is really so important right now, diversification of our economy. But one of the biggest things I really want to concentrate on is what I started on in working with my colleagues when we introduced the resolution to try to help the administration in the expenditures of ARP funding. We put in there to put $25 million into Chamorro Land Trust so that we can put infrastructure in and start working on affordable housing. I made sure that Guam Housing Corporation got their $500,000 rebated to them so they can help first-time homeowners with that $10,000 down payment credit. The bottom line is that dignity of having a home, having some place to call your own, a roof over your head, really enhances the family environment, makes sure that we can help our people going forward. When we get Chamorro Land Trust developed, it will help all of our families across the board. And there are other programs that we need to work on. Housing is the biggest reason why people are leaving Guam, because of the fact that it's just too hard to live on this island with so many pressures. But if you can't even have the dignity of a home and a place to live, that's a problem. So I want to concentrate on affordable housing.
All right, a very ambitious goal to be sure, Senator. Thank you so much. All right, John Savares, I'd like to ask you the same question as I did the good senator, but maybe like with a twist, because you said based on your own experience as someone who wore the military uniform, you want to focus on veterans affairs. So if that is one of your primary goals as a senator, should you be elected, how do you get there?
So one thing that a lot of veterans don't understand in the cannabis industry, the Veterans Health Administration actually has a directive that talks about veterans' use of cannabis. And the way that we regulate this is making sure that it's actually VHA, Veterans Health Administration Directive 1315. What it states in the directive is that veterans who are participating in a state-sanctioned medical cannabis program, that in order to have a discussion with the VA and be right by the VA, they have to be registered through the state. And one thing I want to do is streamline it. One, taking the veterans ratings, because this is a federal rating, and we know medical cannabis patients here are struggling to find doctors. So in order to eliminate that doctor thing, I'm gonna introduce into law or into in the bill that we eliminate that and use their VA rating, and then take it further and then treat it like licenses where we give it to veterans for free, because we do this with other mechanisms on this island.
All right. Well, maybe you can pick up the now vacated seat by Senator Clint Bridgell, who will not be seeking re-election and who has done a lot of work towards that end. So well done. All right, Senator Duenas, your final question. As you mentioned, you were unsuccessful twice in passing a bill that would have extended or that sought to
terminate.
To terminate the public health emergency. Thank you. I know you're a big sports guy, right?
Yes.
If you're already 0 for 2, why do you go for like a third attempt? And how would you maybe should you seek to do that again, how would you change your strategy or your approach?
I think what's important here, Jason, is that the people of Guam are the ones who are the bosses, right? And what's important is it's not about a governor in terms of a person. It's about the job of governor, the job of the legislature. I think and I hope that I'm able to convince, if I'm fortunate to serve, that I'm able to convince the next body coming in that it is so important that we work well with the administration to get things done. But it is our job to make sure that we keep that proper check and balance, that the people's voice is heard within the legislature, and that is something that is so important. I understand the programs that were in need of extension, helping out SNAP benefits. I completely understand that. I understand the situation and the great job that the National Guard did. But nationally, and I showed that through studies and research, nationally, those programs were extended on a standalone basis. But other jurisdictions opened up faster, allowing the economy to grow and to expand and to get jobs back faster. That's why it's important that we do this job of making sure the legislature always keeps things moving and moving along. And so I'll give it another shot.
All right, thank you, Senator, and thank you for your candor on that. A key takeaway, at least for me, when that was making your voice heard, and I know you have made your voice heard on numerous occasions in the legislature, but also you make your voice heard at the 9:30 Mass down at the cathedral every Sunday, and we certainly appreciate that as well.
God has given us all gifts, and so we need to use God's gifts.
Absolutely, and you were using yours, so thank you for that. All right, Johnson Savares, your final question as a first-time Democrat candidate for senator. What do you think is a top issue of the majority of Guam's voters, and how would you seek to address whatever you believe that to be?
So one thing that I keep hearing on the ground is economic recovery, and as we look at our plan moving forward, right now is a perfect time to diversify our tourism economy and restructure it. One of the biggest things that I've been looking at and trying to push for the last 6 years is medical cannabis tourism. Currently, Japan during the Calvo administration, Japan came to Guam and asked to bring their medical cannabis patients here. The total network is 1.5 million people. They want to send, just to start within the first 12 months of the relationship, is send 10% of their people here for 2 to 4 weeks. This changes the dynamic of tourism from 2 to 3 days, 2 to 4 days of what we see currently, to 2 to 4 weeks, not including the additional revenue that they're going to be putting into restaurants, stores, as well as the cannabis industry, which is going to have a new tax revenue and tax segment for our island.
All right, so gentlemen, very well done. We appreciate the time and the honesty. Real quick, before we go, I'll give you guys 5 seconds each. Give the people out there some quirky thing like about your personality, aside from your platform and your official, CV and your background and everything like that. Senator Duenas, with you, 5 seconds. What don't people know about Chris Duenas?
What people might not know about Chris Duenas is I have a mantra in my life. The worst day fishing is still better than the best day working.
There you go.
I love fishing.
A lot of the KUM production staff are avid fishermen themselves, so thank you very much. Expert angler for sure. And Johnson Savares, some aspect of your personality that people may not know.
So one of the biggest things that I've learned in life is make sure you have fun in everything you do, and enjoy what life has to offer, and always look for the glass being half empty versus half full versus half empty.
Right on. The ever the optimist. Well, we hope this has been fun for the both of you gentlemen.
Absolutely.
And good luck on the campaign trail. And we have got more fun coming up, so stay tuned because Senator Frank Blas Jr. is looking to repeat. He is, of course, an incumbent, and he wants your vote again so he can continue his work with a seat in the legislature. Also, Dr. Kelly March Tyson, a former senator, looks to reclaim the seat that she former sat in the legislature, but she's going to have a seat on our set right after this, so stay tuned. They're coming up.